Hello, good afternoon. My name is Rosa Esquivel, and we are Pilsen Alliance.
My name is Javier Ruiz, right here, also with Pilsen Alliance.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you are doing good today. So
We're doing good.
Yeah, so we are actually really happy today. We have really big news. Basically, in the 25th ward, which is the ward that we have been working on in housing issues, the alderman who was 22 years in power, and he was the chair committee of the zoning process,
yes.
the zoning committee. He is retiring.
Yep.
He is retiring. His name is Danny Solis.
Yep.
And he is actually he's very responsible for a lot of displacement that happening in our community. So we are celebrating the fact that there is change coming to the 25th ward, and we are really happy for it.
Yeah. 22 years has been a long time. This man, has gentrified the neighborhood, displaced a lot of people from their homes. With his retirement, though, I mean, a man like that does not retire.
Exactly.
He's going to have so, we bring this news to everybody, as it relates to, immigration issues, housing, the city in general, right? One of the most powerful aldermen, stepping down to become a behind-the-scenes operative, in Southwest Side politics, somewhat good news, right? We know he's retiring, whatever that means, but he still has $300,000 in his campaign fund. So we're still gonna figure out where that money goes to. He's definitely gonna have a say. But we tie it in, right? Because all the stuff are going on here. We have like unregulated gentrification going on in our city. And like countrywide, we got caravan of immigrants coming in, and just a lot of stuff going on in our country, and it's hard times here. And whenever we see a little ripple of hope here in the city, like a powerful alderman retiring. We celebrate for the day, but also prepare for the next, because we know the fight is not over. So yeah, I mean, it was a lot of the community activism, that made him retire, right?
So, if you want to get involved in Pilsen Alliance, you can visit us at Pilsen Alliance office at 1744 West 18th Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60608. And you can call us at 312-243-5440. You can visit us at pilsenalliance.org, which is our page. Or you can also look for us at Facebook, in our Facebook and Twitter.
Yep. So, yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to talk about a big issue that is happening right now, right at the border, right? We have a huge caravan coming from Central America and Mexico as well. Basically, it's a caravan of asylum seekers, right? There's actually a big problem happening in Central America, especially in Honduras. There was an elected president there. His name is, I'm sorry, I lost his name. Juan Orlando Hernandez.
Yeah.
So basically, this president was elected under a lot of controversy over there. He was basically, a lot of people said that there was a lot of fraud in the voting that happened in Honduras. So a lot of people were in the streets and basically, complaining about the election of this president, because it was very fraudulent, and people felt like that their rights were not taken into consideration, their voting rights. So the country was basically in chaos. The army, they were shooting civilians, including women and kids. So there's a lot of things that are happening in Honduras, right? I don't know.
And yeah, this president too, that was elected in Honduras was also supported, by a lot of American diplomats that came in. They have interest in the country.
Yes.
Latin America is known for its oil reserves, for its natural resources. Mm-hmm. Americans, they have to have all that, right? They got to have a control.
Yeah. So this is about profits, right? It's about capitalism. It's about privatizing resources.
Yeah.
Like, for example, in Guatemala, what happened in I don't remember exactly. It was 19.
Yeah.
It's in 1970s, 1960s. There was a fruit company, and the president at that time, he was very worker supporter. He created unions. He was trying to give
basically
the workers land. Yeah.
And Americans, they can't have no lefty. Another Latin America, so they had to have their control. Otherwise, no oil for us here in America.
Yeah. So what happened is, this fruit company was kind of like in the middle of everything, right? So the government was derogated, and at that time, and there was a lot of conflict. There was a civil war. So that's what happened in Guatemala. So basically, Central America has always been influenced by the U.S. policies, right?
Yep.
Which are not really for the people, but are mostly on the interest of the United States. Mm-hmm. Which it creates this type of imbalance, and it creates corruption, and it creates poverty, disinvestment of the communities.
Yep.
Which it's a whole layer of things that happen, right? It's poverty, on schools that are under-resourced, which creates what is like trafficking and all that stuff, right?
Yep.
So so basically, the people from Honduras and El Salvador and all the people that are coming in this caravan are asylum seekers that are flying from violence.
Yep.
And poverty,
Yep.
basically.
And we see it worldwide too. We see the crisis in Latin America. The war in Iraq. You see it's all the same thing. Refugees fleeing from wars caused by the Americans.
Yes.
And it's a crisis coming to us. Right?
It's created by the policies,
Exactly.
like the how to say,
for control, basically.
Foreign policies for control of the resources.
They want to go in, control the resources, create wars, and then we have refugees coming in.
So it's a very problematic issue. They already crossed Mexico, and what we got surprised is the kind of response that happened in Mexico, right? Basically, it was a lot of xenophobia against the Central Americans, which is really sad when you think about it, because we speak the same language, right? We speak we're the same color. We're brothers and sisters. We come from same tribes, like our ancestors come from the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Incas. So we're basically the same people, right? It's just we created those type of frontiers, after the colonization of America, of Latin America. And but there's also laws that actually protect asylum seekers, right?
So whenever the right-wing media likes to say that they're coming in illegally, they make it sound like they're invading, like they're going to come in and loot everybody's houses. No, but they're following the legal process that's set by the United States.
So basically, in the Constitution of the United States, if you read Article 6 of the Constitution of the United States, right? It says that all the laws that we sign, even like the treaties that we sign, they become the law of the land. That's Article 6 of the Constitution, okay? So there was a treaty that we signed. It's called I forgot the name. But it's basically a treaty that we signed in 1951. which is a treaty of asylum, basically. And actually, Mexico signed that same treaty as well
In 2000, yep.
in the year 2000. So this treaty that we signed says that any person who is coming into a country and they are turning themselves into authorities for seeking asylum, they cannot be persecuted because they are flying, and there has to be a due process of each case of asylum seekers. There has to be a due process, and they cannot be persecuted. There has to be a certain time, and the United States they have to actually open the borders for them until they can prove that their case is how to say that, like basically they have to follow a whole process in order to approve them to stay in the United States. And while they are seeking asylum, they cannot kick them out. They cannot refuse them, and they cannot say no for them to coming into the country. So what is happening right now at the border, where they are throwing
tear gas
on the people on the caravan of asylum seekers, that is not legal. Actually, the people, the one that is breaking the law is the U.S. government. This administration is breaking the law right now.
Yeah. So when the media likes to say they should follow the legal process, they follow the legal process.
They are following the legal process.
But
from
even
Mexico,
that is not good enough. For the right wing, the American empire. So what is the right way?
Yeah.
They literally are following the legal process.
They are.
And even that is not good enough for the American empire.
So what do we do about that, right? How do we fight this, right? How do we protect? Because this is people, elderly are coming, young people, women that are pregnant, children. It's thousands and thousands of people. I don't know. They keep saying the numbers keep changing, because at first they say it was 3,000, then it's like 5,000, then it's 7,000. So I don't know if people just keep adding when the caravan is walking. So how do we help to create awareness about this issue? And for example, do you want to get involved? Do you want to go to the border? There's several organizations that are going to the border, and they're taking materials like food. What else are they taking? Well, basically
just like materials
for
support.
personal hygiene and stuff like that. Toys for the children. There's a lot of work that is needed right now. So if you wanna find out which organizations are going to the border, you can refer to our page. There's actually an organization that is going to the border. It's called the Faith Life and Mission.
Faith Light Mission, yeah.
Yeah, Life Mission, which is the organization for Father Landa Verden, who he is been fighting for a lot of issues for undocumented people here in Chicago. And they are going away tomorrow to the border to take materials and help the people at the border, help basically the caravan of asylum seekers.
Yeah, basically a lot of people going in to help. It's much needed help, that they need. They're facing attacks, from their own people, Latin Americans, and also from here, from the bigotry here. So any little support is always helpful. So
I think it's important to say that whenever there is an injustice, we have to speak about it.
Yeah.
It's important to protect the people that are most vulnerable.
Yeah.
That's what Pilsen Alliance does. We are a community organization, and we concentrate in social justice. We are always going to protect the most vulnerable people, and not only in our communities, but also like, everywhere
Yeah.
where we can touch this type of issues. That's what we're gonna do.
Especially to not repeat history.
Yeah.
I mean, we see back in the 40s, right? The Holocaust. It did not start with the Holocaust. It
Yes.
started with the media demonizing a group of people. And then that consciousness spread among the population. Then you normalize, you dehumanize a group of people, and then it gradually builds up, to hate. And then you get the general population to hate that certain people. The bigotry flames are, being fanned. And it's a repeat of history. We look at the 1940s, World War II in Germany. Same patterns, same scary patterns. The media stoking these flames. And, each of us has a responsibility,
To speak up.
to speak up. And we do not want to have another repeat of history. Especially if we see all the parallels from the 1940s.
The separation of
Separation of
families,
families.
the children going into cages. We believe that as human beings, here, a lot of people come into this country because this country has always talked about how they fight inhumane things around the world, right? I do feel that we have the most good, like the laws that are to defend people, right? But unfortunately, as in right now, and the way this administration is treating people, is not acceptable at all. It's
Yeah.
not acceptable. We are all human beings. We have the same blood running through our bodies,
Yep.
and this should not be happening. Kids should not be suffering the way that they're suffering. And they shouldn't have that in their minds. They should not worry if they're gonna eat tomorrow. They should not.
Yeah.
These kids are coming like miles and miles, right?
Yeah, by a U.S. instigated conflict, and it's the same patterns. White nationalism on the rise, using these poor immigrants as a scapegoat for the white supremacist agenda. And like you said, it's the same patterns in the 40s, and it's very scary. This is this is beyond being left wing, right wing. It's
Yeah.
about being human.
Yes, it's about humanity.
about humanity.
I do believe that this country is better than that. That we are better than that. That we can work together towards a world that is more peaceful, and there is more equality for all of us. We should not treat other people differently just because of their color of their skin, or their religious beliefs, or their political views, right? We feel that everybody has a right to speak, but we will not tolerate. We should not be tolerating hate, this type of hate,
Yeah.
right? This is not freedom of speech. This is hate, and whenever human lives are inflicted into pain, we should not tolerate that type of thing.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Yeah.
so if you wanna, like we said, if you wanna get involved with us, you can go to our office,
Yeah,
Pilsen
office.
Alliance, 1744 West 18th Street, Chicago, Illinois 60608. 312-243-5440.
Yep.
You can visit our page, thepilsenalliance.org, or you can also look for us on Facebook.
Facebook, Twitter,
Twitter,
all that.
yeah.
We're always around somewhere. We also got our 20th anniversary coming up. Very excited to share with everybody. So coming up next week, we got our Pilsen Alliance. We've been around 20 years. We were born out of the struggle to fight back against gentrification, and we're inviting everybody to come over next week. Or in 2 weeks, right? Yeah, my bad. Sorry, correction. 2 weeks. Come over
2
in
weeks.
2 weeks. For a night of
December
fun,
12th.
dancing. Come see how Pilsen Alliance knows how to turn up, right? So that'll be at the Mexican Art Museum Okay, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. But we might go a little later depending on how, how the party is. So yeah, come. We invite everybody to come over. It's a community struggle. It's an ongoing community struggle. But we also need time to, wind back, enjoy each other's company.
Create community.
Create community. Hope to see everybody there.
Yes, so hopefully you guys can come over. You are all invited, and so we can create community together. We can learn about the different issues that are happening in the community. Also, what else do we have for next week or for this week?
I mean, yeah, just basically, Pilsen Alliance, 20th anniversary. Also, yeah, I mean, we successfully got Danny Solis out. That's another thing we got to pat ourselves for, right? I mean, it was all the community activism. One of the most powerful city councilmen. This guy has foreign investors come in to see him. One of the most powerful aldermen, possibly the country.
Yeah.
Got punked out by some activists not to run. So
I think that also has to do with also Rahm Emanuel,
Yeah,
right? Getting
Rahm
out of resigning as well. Not resigning, not running as well, right?
Yeah.
So how is that going to affect our city, right? Well, I feel like when it comes to issues, we still have to keep on working, pushing for housing.
Housing.
For especially for affordable housing, which is gonna help our families to still stay in the neighborhoods, because we still have a Chicago that is
very segregated.
But also working class families, right? We still have to defend the rights of those working class families, so they can, stay live where they want to live,
Exactly.
I feel like we don't want it to become a city that is so expensive that we cannot even live in there no more, right? We all deserve to live in neighborhoods that are healthy,
we lived in.
And that having our streets that are safe.
Streets that are safe, schools that we can be proud of.
Schools that are fully funded. What else can we? I don't know.
Basically, we all deserve to live a good life. It's all these policies that were supported by the former aldermen.
We need also. I think we need a lot of green spaces.
Yeah.
we need more green spaces. Maybe more community centers, right? Oh, mental health. That's something that is really important. We are actually on a coalition to push to open.
Yeah, reopen. Not privatize.
Yeah,
It's a lot
the
of
mental
people
health.
want to privatize, but no, not open.
Yeah, the mental health clinics that were closed down. We have a lot of people in the streets that need that help, right?
Mm-hmm.
Veterans, right? We talk a lot about our veterans, right? People say, oh, well, they sacrifice a lot. But then when they come over here, they
don't get the service.
Sometimes they end up homeless.
Yeah, so just, like I said, Solis is retiring, one of the most powerful aldermen, still has $300,000. Right? Because it's important, because
yeah, it is.
Just got to, just want to warn everybody, keep an eye out where that money goes, is all I'm saying.
So thank you very much for having us today. And hopefully we can see you again on our next show. And if you have any questions, just give us a call or visit our page.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening.